What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. In this video today, we're gonna do something a little bit different. I generally talk about wealth, how to create and perpetuate wealth monetarily. But see, the thing is, wealth is more than just money. Wealth has a lot to do with your health, how healthy you are. If you're not healthy, nothing else really matters because you're not gonna be around very long. There is a reason why most people, they say, I don't look my age. In the comments, tell me how old you think I am. Most people think I'm a lot younger than I actually am, and it's because I take really good care of myself. I'm gonna go over one thing that I've implemented recently in my life, which is intermittent fasting. I come from a background of bodybuilding. I used to do bodybuilding back from 2014 to 2016, and I used to think fasting was the stupidest thing ever. I had this belief that you had to constantly be feeding your body in order to have your metabolism up. But think about it. We've been around as human beings for hundreds of thousands of years. Do you think back when, cavemen were running around that they just had Uber Eats, that they could hit Uber Eats up and have food to their door in 30 minutes? They could go to their fridge and just eat whatever they want. No, our bodies are developed to go through times of famine. It's feast and famine, right? So there's times where our bodies are designed to not have food coming in. And there's different hormones and things that take place that I'm gonna go over in this video of what I've learned so you guys can get something from it. I sit at around 7% body fat right now. For most people, that's leaner than, I'd say, 99.9% of America. Most Americans are overweight, they're obese. I'm sitting at 7% body fat. I maintain that. That's not a fad. And I'm gonna go over exactly how you guys can do this, how you can get into better shape and be healthy. Because seeing a six pack, which I have, is cool. It's cool having a six pack. But what's cooler is being healthy, having a ton of energy, being able to, get up and do the things you wanna do without worrying and having brain fog and all these different things that we suffer from in America because of our diets, what we're putting in our mouth, and how often we're doing it. So stick around to the end. You guys will get a ton of value from this video. And when you do, please share it with others. I want to help people not only become more wealthy with their money, but also more wealthy with their health. So let's jump into it. So to lose weight, you really need to do a couple different things. Most people know you have to have a calorie deficit. So what you eat, the amount of calories you eat, needs to be less than the amount of calories you burn. So let's say you burn 2,000 calories in a day. You need to eat less than 2,000 calories. You'll be at a deficit, so you'll start losing weight. Now, that works, but it only works for so long. A lot of times when you do go into a calorie deficit, what's happening is you're not getting enough nutrients. So what happens is your body starts shutting down and preserving energy. Your metabolism slows. So you hit a plateau where to keep losing weight, to keep getting in better shape, you have to go into an even further calorie deficit. And that is, let's put it this way, it's grueling. That's what I used to have to do during my bodybuilding days. I'd have to be in a calorie deficit, I'd hit a plateau, and I'd have to go even further down. Less carbs, less protein, less fats. I would just have to eat less food, and I'd be so hangry all the time because I didn't get enough food, enough nutrients into my body. So that's the first thing. You need to be in a calorie deficit. The second thing, this is what most people miss, is insulin levels need to be low. So what happens is when you eat food, your insulin levels spike. And why that is because you basically have to get the glucose out of your blood. So your blood sugar levels go up, and then your body secretes insulin, which is a hormone, to get the glucose out of your blood and into different parts of your body, into your liver to store as fat for an energy source when you're going through a point of famine, when you're not eating. So what happens is, since we're always eating, we're in this constant state of feeding ourselves. We're always eating, like every few hours. One, we're eating the wrong foods. We're eating ultra processed foods. Two, we're eating all the time, so we're always spiking our insulin levels. The higher your insulin, the more fat you're storing. The lower your insulin, the more fat you're burning. So what happens is when you put food in your mouth, when you eat food, your insulin levels spike. If you're constantly doing that, you get what's called insulin resistance. So basically, your body just stays at a high insulin level. That's when you see like type 2 diabetes, people that have a high A1C level. So those people have insulin resistance, where the insulin isn't really working like it should. So they're constantly just in a fat storing state instead of a fat burning state. So that's the first thing, guys. You have to keep your insulin levels low and you have to be at a calorie deficit. The way that I do this is very simple. I practice intermittent fasting, which is you just fast for a certain amount of time, and then a certain amount of time you have an eating window. A popular one is 16-8. So you fast for 16 hours, you eat for 8 hours. I go longer than that. I generally fast anywhere from 18 to 20 hours a day. That means I only have an eating window of about 4 to 6 hours. So think about that. If I can only eat food for 4 to 6 hours, I'm naturally going to have a calorie deficit because it's less time that I have to eat. You can only eat so much before you're full, right? And then your food has to digest, and then you can eat again. So what I do is, again, about 18 to 20 hours per day of fasting. I stop eating around 3 to 4 o'clock. This is very important because when you eat food, your digestive tract has to digest that food. There's a lot of energy that goes into that process. Your body has to give off a lot of energy in order to digest that food. So most people, they eat right before bed. So what happens is when they go to bed, their food is being digested. All that energy is being used to digest the food instead of that energy going to repair their muscles, repair their brain tissue. All these things that are supposed to happen at night don't end up happening because people eat too close to bed. So what I do is I stop eating around 3 to 4 o'clock. I end up going to sleep, I'd say at the latest around 9 o'clock. So you figure if I stopped at 4 and I am sleeping by 9, that's 5 hours. That's enough time for my body to digest everything out of my system. And now all the energy used to repair my muscles, repair my body, is actually happening while I sleep for about 8 hours during that night. All right, so I've slept through the night. My body has done what it's supposed to do, which is repair itself because it's not taking energy to digest food. I have a lower body temperature, a lower resting heart rate. My body is literally doing what it's designed to do, which is repair itself at night, not digest food. Most people, again, they eat right before bed, or they even wake up and snack on food in the middle of the night. That's even worse. So I wake up in the morning, I feel rested, I feel energized, I feel great. I get up and I go to the gym. I go to the gym and I still am fasted at the gym. I haven't eaten yet. This is super important because the longer you fast, what happens is your body uses up all of its glycogen. That's basically glucose, so carbs that are pulled from the blood out of your blood sugar levels. It's converted into glycogen, and glycogen is what's stored in your liver, stored in your muscles, and your body, what it does is it's using up those glycogen stores for energy. Generally speaking, around 12 hours, everyone's a little different, but around 12 hours, you've kind of depleted that energy source. So now this is when you start feeling really hungry. Think about it. You have a spike in what's called ghrelin. That's a hormone that signals to your brain, you got to find some food. I'm hungry. And it's really a thing of habit too. We've ran out of our glycogen stores. Our body isn't fat adapted. It hasn't adapted to burning fat for fuel yet. So you feel hungry. The ghrelin kicks in. That's the hormone that signals to your brain, I'm hungry, go find food. And that's when we generally break a fast if we even go longer than 8 hours. Most people don't even fast for 8 hours. They eat right before bed, they wake up, they eat right when they wake up. That's only 8 hours of fasting. That's not enough. If you go 12 hours, this is when it starts to get hard at first because you're going to feel hungry, you're going to want to eat, but if you ignore that and stay busy, go do something like working out, what happens is your body starts tapping into fat stores. It goes into what's called ketosis. And that is because your body is very, very smart. It has evolved over hundreds of thousands of years, and it knows that it's got to find different sources of energy. The last thing it'll use is muscle. Your body does not want to use precious muscle, because think of back in the day. Think of, when cavemen were around. They had to hunt for their meals. They had to hunt. And to do that, they have to have muscle. They have to be able to run and throw things and do whatever they do to hunt food back then, right? The muscles are spared. And the way this works is because when you fast for an extended period of time, your body actually has an uptick in human growth hormone. Celebrities pay thousands and thousands of dollars to be injected with human growth hormone. Your body lets it off naturally. In men, up to 2,000% when you go into a fast. 2,000% spike in human growth hormone, which is muscle sparing and also fat burning. Now, your body is in ketosis, so it's actually burning more fat for fuel instead of carbs, the glycogen, because glycogen is gone. And now you're actually burning through a cleaner source. Your brain generally is going to use all glucose for energy. If you're not putting any new carbs into your body, there's no new glucose. So what has to happen is your body is very, very smart. It lets off ketones. Ketones are fuel for your brain. It's a cleaner burning fuel. So what generally happens with a fast around the 14-hour mark, you start having a ton of mental clarity because your brain is actually being fueled off of ketones instead of glucose. So a lot of people that do intermittent fasting and extended fasts, they actually say that they feel really mentally clear. They're clear-minded. And it usually happens, for me at least, around that 14 to 16-hour mark. Also, what's going on in the body at this time, if you're working out during a fast, you're burning through a lot more energy, right? So your body, if you're out of glucose, if you're out of the glycogen from your liver's like a sponge. So it holds a bunch of water and it holds a bunch of glycogen. Once you actually deplete that, your body has to burn something. It's not going to burn through muscle because it's smart enough to know it needs the muscle. You're going to have a spike in human growth hormone, which is going to preserve that muscle. And then you have to have energy somehow. So what happens? You start burning fat. Your insulin levels are extremely low because you haven't put any new food into your body. If your insulin levels are low, you're in a fat burning state. Remember what I said. If you're in insulin's low, fat burning state. Insulin's high, fat storing state. So you want to not put as much food into your face as often as you are because you're keeping your insulin levels spiked. What I do is I train in the morning. I'm fasted during that time. And then I generally break my fast somewhere around like 11 a.m. And I do this with high quality foods. So I eat generally 2 whole eggs, 8 ounces of egg whites. I get cheese in there. So for my fats, I generally have a couple pieces of toast with butter. So, and the toast is like high quality protein toast. It's Dave's Killer Bread. So that's what I eat to kind of break my fast on intermittent fasting. And then I'm going to eat again, probably one other time, right around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And that's going to be some starchy carbs like rice. It's going to be some bison, some chicken, some steak, some sort of lean animal protein, and then veggies. So I'll have asparagus, I'll have broccoli, and then I will put on top of it olive oil, so another healthy fat. Now, once I add all that up, what I've been eating throughout the day, I'm not snacking, I'm eating 2 meals a day, 2 to 3 meals. When I add all that up, I'm generally under 2,200 calories. So I'm at a deficit because I work out. I've got a good amount of muscle on my body, so I burn a lot of calories just sitting. I have a lot of energy, so I'm moving around a lot, as you guys can see. So I burn through a lot of calories. I'm at a deficit, but I'm getting high quality food, high protein, a good amount of healthy fats, and a good amount of good carbs, complex carbs, not simple carbs. And what happens, I've got that calorie deficit. I also haven't spiked my insulin levels like crazy. My insulin levels have stayed very, very low because of the fasting. I'm mentally clear. My body is in ketosis, so I'm burning more fat. I have ketones feeding my brain, so my brain is actually really clear. Guys, it's amazing. I've been doing this and I don't really watch what I eat. Like, I'll eat a pizza if I want one. I'll eat a burger if I want one. I'll get ice cream. And with me, ice cream is like my kryptonite. I can't just have a couple spoonfuls. I will eat the entire tub in one sitting. Yet I still am sitting at 7% body fat. And it is because of fasting. I'm telling you guys, the benefits are incredible. And I'm going to do another video that talks about extended fasting, where it's more so for longevity than being in shape. Like, intermittent fasting really helps with being in shape. A long extended fast, so over 24 hours, is going to get into a ton of health benefits that help you with longevity. Guys, I have a goal of living to be 122 years old. The reason I have that goal is my daughter. She was born when I was 22. I want to see her turn 100. I want to see her become 100 years old. And to do that, I got to live to be 122. And I don't want to be on like a breathing machine. I want to be a healthy 122. And the only way to do that is to take care of myself, take care of my body, get a ton of sleep, which I do, drink a lot of water, don't eat processed foods. Guys, I do not eat processed foods. Every once in a while, I live life. I'll have a burger, I'll have pizza, I'll have ice cream. But for the most part, I'm eating high quality foods. Free range eggs, I'm eating those, organic. With meats, I'm eating grass-fed, grass-finished meats. So guys, I'm putting quality stuff in my body. I'm at a calorie deficit because I'm shortening my eating window, and I'm keeping my insulin levels low so that I'm in a fat burning state instead of a fat storing state. Hopefully you guys got a ton of value from this. This is something that works incredible for me. It's not for everybody. I can tell you this, if you are pregnant, if you are breastfeeding, if you're trying to get pregnant, you probably should not be fasting. Everyone else, this is good for you. This is how our bodies were designed to do this, to fast for long periods of time. So hope you guys got a ton of value. I'm going to do another video again about an extended fast so I can get into the benefits of that for you guys. Until next time, I love y'all. Peace.